Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of OP Radio. My name is Mac. I'm a content strategist at OP Labs. Before we get into the topic of today's show, just a brief disclaimer. Speakers on OP Radio are speaking in their personal capacities and not for their respective companies. To the extent there are any, do not rely on any forward-looking statements made during this episode. And remember, OP is a governance token, not an investment, and nothing in this episode is or should be construed as investment advice. So with that out of the way, without further ado, I'd like to intro our guest today. His name is James. James, do you want to tell us all a little bit about who you are? Maybe a little bit of your background and what you did before you started working on Mode.
Yeah, absolutely. So before working on Mode, I was managing director and co-CEO of a company called Hype, which helps lots of ecosystems with their marketing, growth, developer, community growth. We also had recruitment as well. And before that, I was an angel investor in the space. So I invested in a lot of early stage crypto startups from 2017 to 2020.
Nice. Well, it sounds like your background fits right in with sort of what sets Mode apart. And we'll get into that shortly, I think. So thank you for that. And then how about, could you just give us like the big overview, the 20,000 foot look at what is Mode?
Absolutely. So Mode is an OP stack chain that is designed to reward people that help grow the ecosystem. So we're building different products, tools to help developers and users contribute to Mode and contribute to Optimism ecosystem, contribute to Ethereum, and grow the network as they do this. So a couple of examples of this is we have a sequencer fee sharing module. So when people pay transactions on Mode, the developer who those transactions go through, the applications from that developer that the transactions go through, they will earn a share of those transaction fees. And then we're also building out different tooling, such as a referral network for users. So if you refer friends to Mode, you'll earn a proportion of their transaction fees forever as well. I guess not such a new model, but I think the real innovation is we're putting all these things into one place and trying to make it super easy for people to, contribute and grow the ecosystem and get predictable rewards for that.
Nice. Yeah. So, there's so many L2s sprouting up now. So it sounds like the unique identifier about Mode is this sequencer fee sharing model and the fact that there's also this referral program. And then there's something about dashboards as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we're trying to build out, we've actually got pretty far with building out various dashboards, and we're trying to really take a much more of a product approach to ecosystem growth. So what that means is traditionally we've seen blockchains, protocols take like an AWS approach where they really focus in on the tech, whereas we're looking to take more of like a Shopify approach where we're going to focus much less on like the core protocol technology and more on the ecosystem growth technology and building technology. So things like products that can help developers grow their applications, can help automate various processes and back office tasks for developers. So they can really focus on just building. And then also, giving users a destination. So a place where they can see their assets on Mode, where they can understand what activities they've done, what's available, what's interesting, what's new. So trying to make Mode like a destination via these dashboards. And we have some interesting campaigns that we're working on, which we've kind of started this campaign already. It's called Mode Cooperators. We're trying to take a much more cooperative approach to growing a chain where, everyone's competitive, but at the end of the day, they're cooperating to grow Mode ecosystem together. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. So it sounds like, in my mind, sort of the end result of all these dashboards, it just sounds like a lot more user friendly. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, we are trying to make things pretty user friendly. I think the one thing that I found when using various blockchains is, as a user, it's quite hard to know where to go. Like, what's the first step? And many websites or the onboarding for users who are new to different ecosystems is quite difficult. It's quite tricky. You have wallets, you have, lots of steps before you can really get started. You've got to understand bridges. So we're trying to make that as smooth as possible and, really like leverage Mode and Mode's brand to bring new people to the ecosystem and help them discover all the applications. And, as a protocol or a chain, your goal is to make sure that your application layer is successful. And if you can make sure your application layer is successful, then there should be lots of users. And that has like a really nice growth loop that helps, grow the chain, and grow the ecosystem and bring more devs and bring more users. And that flywheel spins. And we've seen that with a lot of successful chains so far, like Optimism. They have some really cool features within the Optimism ecosystem website that keep people engaged. So we're looking to continue building on that, continue experimenting with different ways to make Mode a destination for people to come and learn more, grow as the ecosystem grows.
Excellent. Yeah. And speaking of Optimism, Mode is an OP chain. And so I'd love to know, James, when, there's so many different sort of layer 2 solutions that projects could go with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if you could just kind of walk me through the thought process of how you guys were thinking about that, approaching it, and ultimately how you decided to utilize the OP stack for Mode.
Absolutely. So when we're thinking about like how we can build an ecosystem that has this like a new incentive model for developers, for users, we're pretty inspired by Canto, Phantom, and some other chains running like, trying similar models. We started looking at like how we could implement this. And around the same time, we saw that Optimism was moving towards, launching the OP stack, completely open source, and had some really interesting upgrades coming for the OP stack. And we thought this could be a great opportunity to kind of start building this and testing this. I worked with the initial ideas with a good friend, Dimi, who was previously founder of Ocean Protocol. We kind of sketched out the first versions of what this sequence of fee sharing and other modules could look like. And then we started building in. For us, we really wanted to launch quite quickly. That was really the key thing because, I'm a pretty impatient person. So the goal was how quickly can we like launch a first version and how can we iterate upon that? So we got a dev team together and we started building on top of OP stack. And it was, fairly straightforward. We have a great infrastructure partner and we launched the testnet. That's been running around 3 months and we've managed to onboard a load of great applications already. We have some solid integrations around indexing and oracles. And so, from here, really the next step is to launch like a DevNet to help everyone move over across to the DevNet, which is, like a more closed version of a mainnet. And then, launch the mainnet shortly after. So really the best thing about the OP stack is, you can get up and running pretty quickly. And that's a huge advantage. There are other solutions for building an L2 right now, but many of them are not, let's say, production ready. So you wouldn't feel secure having, tens or hundreds of millions of dollars of value on those chains just yet. That might change in the future, but right now, the OP stack has been audited many times, has a really solid reputation. We've seen also Base has been extremely successful running the technology. And also, we, like myself and a lot of the team, we've been building on top of Ethereum and working with applications building on top of Ethereum for a long time. So it's important for us to stay aligned to that ecosystem, which Optimism very much is.
Nice. I love that. Yeah. So able to just get up building and get up to speed really, really quickly. So what's the current status? It sounds like it's testnet and the devnet coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming soon. I will announce it next week. So that's an announcement of an announcement we got right there, which I promised I would never do, but I just did. We're going to announce when the devnet is launching next week.
DevNet soon, and then, logically mainnet sometime after that.
Yeah, the mainnet will come a couple of weeks after DevNet. The DevNet is really there to help the applications that deployed to Mode have some time to move over to mainnet and move everything over there and make sure everything is running smoothly. Yeah.
Totally. And speaking of those applications, James, are there any sort of applications in particular that you're looking to come over to Mode? Do you anticipate that some will be more attracted to Mode than others, or is it just sort of wide open and anyone? Like, what's the sort of target market here?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are happy to discuss with a variety of projects, but right now we're focusing in on experimental DeFi projects. We're also focusing in on working with some interesting, like, strategic on-chain games. So it's quite exciting. Like, we want Mode to be somewhere where people can come and, they can get support with getting their first 5,000 or 10,000 users on their application. And we really want to be involved with all the apps that launch, with getting them there. Over the past few months, like, we've tried to spend a lot of time just speaking to developers about, what are their biggest problems right now. And a lot of devs that we speak to, like, they're not, they don't have too many problems actually building out the technology. A lot of their problems right now are around, funding. It's quite tough to get VC funding at the moment. And then also user growth. So in the Mode team, we have a lot of expertise in helping projects scale and helping them get their first users. So we really want to, make sure we're supporting any projects that come to Mode early on getting their first, 5,000 and 10,000 users. And then, if they want to continue growing on Mode, that's awesome. If they want to expand to other chains, we're also happy to help them do that as well. Maybe they want to expand across the Superchain team, so Superchain protocols, Optimism and Base, then, we'd be happy to help them with that as well. So we're looking for projects that are keen to experiment with something new and looking for support with growth challenges. Nice.
So it sounds like, obviously, open to anyone, but might be best served by newer projects and ones who are sort of just getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. Projects that are just getting started, DeFi and gaming, like strategic on-chain gaming. So we're not really focusing on, high production games, more interesting, fun, strategic games for people to play. Yeah, I guess GameFi is the term for that right now. Yeah, we're really happy to support. So feel free to shoot me a DM.
Very cool. And as far as governance goes, how is that going to work, James? How is Mode going to be governed?
Yeah, so Mode is going to be governed through the Mode DAO, and we're taking a slightly different approach from some other chains. We're going to have delegated governance and kind of delegated governance council. So there's a growth council, and they'll be making a lot of the decisions. We're also trying to take a kind of governance minimized approach to the chain, where governance can essentially vote on only a few things, and they don't have a huge amount of power. But like the key things they'll be voting on are things like the sequence of fee sharing module, how much of sequence of fees should go to developers versus how much should go to referrers, things like that. So it's very much a work in progress, but I think, everyone will see quite a few differences with how Mode is governed versus some other chains.
Interesting. James, it seems to me like the through line of this is kind of coming back to just simplification and user friendliness. Again, with sort of limiting the governance options, it's like just sort of making it simpler to people who are new to this whole process. I don't know if you agree with that or if that's a fair description, but that's kind of a common theme I'm picking up on.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to automate as much as possible. We want to make things, very simple, very predictable for users and developers on Mode. I think, there's a lot of complexity that has come into, the way we build out protocols and products. So we're definitely trying to go against that as much as possible.
I think that's very smart. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, James, I think we've about covered it. I think we're close to wrapping this up. Anything else you wanted to mention before we close out the episode?
No, that's awesome. really enjoyed speaking to you. Thanks for the opportunity. And yeah, we will keep an eye on Twitter, everyone, on the Mode Network Twitter account. But yeah, we will have some big updates coming early next week.
Thank you, James, so much. Really enjoyed having you. Glad we could get you on. And yeah, everybody follow Mode Network on Twitter. That's at Mode Network. And of course, remember to like and subscribe to OP Radio, wherever you listen to your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, etc. They're even on chain now. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay optimistic, y'all. We'll see you later.
Thanks so much.